Have you ever felt like your kids' activities actually dictate your whole schedule? All of your non-working hours are spent taking kids here and taking kids there so that they can do all the latest activities and be in all the right stuff. And then you feel constantly pressured and stressed by that because then you've got expectations from your wife that are kind of going unmet as well. And that causes frustration and anxiety. And I mean, it's understandable. I mean, with young kids myself, it's hard to ignore a screaming 2-year-old. Kids whine and they complain and they let you know when they're not happy, and so you cater to their needs. But as adults, we become a little better at hiding some of those kind of things and responding a little more positively. And the truth is, I've come to know many families where it's easy to choose your kids and prioritize your kids over your wife, or prioritize your kids over the marital relationship, or allow the schedule to blow so out of control that the family unit as a whole suffers. And this is a constant battle, and something that requires some intentionality and effort and focused attention on our part. You see, I know several families, who regularly eat in shifts based on whoever's home, because they can never get everyone around the meal table together to share a meal together. This has just kind of become the norm in the world in which we live, because we're so activity driven and there's so many more opportunities and options open to us than ever before. And I don't say that because I'm anti, internet and anti this and anti all of that stuff at all. I'm just saying we need to be aware of those things, and we need to choose intentionally based on that. See, the end goal in my mind is, as parents, we want to raise responsible kids who are wise and discerning and able to make wise decisions themselves. So the myth that we often buy into is that good parenting is actually all about exposing them to anything and everything, getting them involved in all of the right stuff and doing all the good things, all the extracurricular activities in ballet and in music and in sports and in drama and, all that stuff. And in actual fact, I'm not convinced that is actually paying off in the long run. And we give so easily to our kids' wants and our kids' desires, whereas what I think maybe is more called for and more in order for us is to be the parent and to model healthy, wise decision-making processes within boundaries. Now, we talk about boundaries all the time, right? And setting healthy boundaries and maintaining healthy boundaries. And what does that actually look like? I wonder if for our kids, it means identifying and picking one extracurricular activity and letting them really thrive in that, and really getting behind them and celebrating and encouraging them in that, but limiting it to one and not going beyond that. And, so that's a healthy boundary that's, modeling good, wise, responsible decision making for your kids. That's going to stand them in good stead on down the road. It's going to pay long-term benefits, even though maybe in the short term they'll complain about not being able to do extra things that their friends are doing, or the latest thing that they want to do. And I think in the long run, it actually helps us balance our lives a little bit better, or, maintain some healthy boundaries so that we're not spending all of our non-working hours taking our kids here and taking our kids there and, allowing our lives to be dictated by our kids' schedules. You see, one of the trends I've noticed among a lot of divorced or separated couples is that they actually started prioritizing their kids over their marriage relationship. So what they would do is, focus all their time and energy and attention investing in their kids and getting their kids in the right activities and doing all the good stuff. And then what happens is, over time, when their kids eventually grow up and leave home, they find out that they're living with someone who they barely even know anymore and certainly can't even stand being around. And so they wind up separated or divorced. And the cost of that in the long run is far higher than the cost of saying no to an extracurricular activity earlier in the game. I'm convinced of it. So what I'm saying, I think, in the long run is, for us to win long term and raise responsible kids, it's going to mean saying no to some stuff in the short term that may cause some fussing and some complaining and some things like that. But I think in the long term, it's going to pay off a whole lot more. See, I don't know about you, but I really hope that in 20 years, when our kids are grown and gone, I actually love my wife a whole lot more and value her and respect her a whole lot more than I do now. And I know that's only going to be possible if we maintain a priority on that relationship. And I'm convinced as we do that, that's actually a win for our kids. That our kids see that they have a front row seat to a healthy marriage, that's a growing marriage where we prioritize our relationship with each other, and then together work on maintaining healthy boundaries for our family, for our kids to really thrive and grow up as wise, responsible adults. Ultimately, that's what parenting is all about. So my challenge to you and my encouragement to you is to be the parent. Don't allow your kids to parent you. Don't allow your kids to dictate your schedule. You be the parent and parent them well. And I'm convinced, even though in the short term it might seem difficult and hard, in the long run, it'll pay off well. Hi there, my name's Clint, and if you found this video that you just watched helpful or valuable, then go to the website below where you'll find a whole video series dealing with the pressures and collisions that we often experience between work and family and ourselves, and how to stay, healthy and all of that. And we've identified 9 of the most common collisions where, work and family collide, and how to deal with some of those things. We'll talk about how to become better at what you do in your job so that you earn those promotions and make extra money. We'll talk about how to have an open and honest and loving relationship with your wife that actually makes it feel like she's on the same team as you rather than constantly fighting and working against you, and how to have a fun-filled relationship with your kids that's full of warmth and laughter and great memories, while also staying healthy as a person and enjoying good times with your mates and with your friends as a person as well. So go to the website below and you'll find out more about it.